guitar, I just think it looks more, you know, like it really wrote. Okay, so, and then you can, as it says, the next thing in there is to fill in the worksheet. I actually like to take this, so you could do a worksheet at this point and then write in some missing rhythms. I like to take this lesson right away into an ostinato. So, isn't that cool? It's a pattern repeats over and over. Can you just tap it again in your heads? And let's see what happens as you're tapping it. 1, 2, ready, go. Keep going. Don't let me mess you up. See if you can just keep going. Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain high. When you're on that Rocky Mountain, hang your head and cry. Start over. Do, 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 remember me. Do, 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 remember me. Wow, that was pretty good. You guys really followed the rhythms. Okay, that can be really tricky, although I noticed some of you started to tap with me instead. Okay, so we've got to, let's try that again, and we'll practice a couple times of really trying to keep that steady. There's a couple of hints here that help the kids with that. Can you see some things that are helpful to them to be successful at being able to do the ostinato? Okay. Yes, they do. The half notes all line up. That's helpful. I think visually it's helpful. Okay. It's a very simple ostinato. Okay. It's not too difficult. And we have it up here. It's all written out. Okay. I'm not asking them to just do the ostinato and there's nothing visual. Right now that visual hook is helpful to them because they've got a lot of aural stimulation going on with me singing something completely different. So if they've got a visual sense of that, then that's going to go on.
You were tracking it. So.
I was tracking it. So I was singing something else, right? So this time, how about, can you sing Rocky Mountain while I do the ostinato? And I'm going to play the ostinato on my cymbals.
Do you use the word ostinato?
Yes, I do. And I'm sorry, I should have thrown that in there. So we can say, boys and girls, this was a, what did you notice about this rhythm? It was a pattern, okay? And when we have a pattern in music, we call it an ostinato. And then that might be, turn to your neighbor and tell them ostinato. I like to get silly with vocabulary words. I'll be like, can you say for me, ostinato? Ostinato. Ostinato.
Ostinato.
Ostinato. I'm going to see who remembers the ostinato next time. And because that's a big word for them. And it comes back in 3rd grade and 4th grade. We keep talking about it. In fact, this becomes our, whenever I say, do you remember what this was called? Ostinato. You know, they always remember that it's an ostinato. But it's not. In 5th grade, we're talking about something completely different. It's always an ostinato.
Ostinato, what's an ostinato? Ostinato is a pattern that repeats.
I love it. Yes, I want to do that this year.
Ostinato, who are you? Who are you? I'm a little pattern. I'm a little pattern. Stubborn too. Stubborn.
Okay.
Which is an ostinato. Stubborn too.
Trees talk too. Talk too.
What's an ostinato? Ostinato is a pattern that repeats.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait, those go. Ostinato, ostinato, who are you? Who are you? I'm a little pattern, I'm a little pattern, stubborn too, stubborn too.
Great.
I know.
Yes, I want. Yes, send them to me. I'll post them on interviews page. Yeah. Okay, so will you sing Rocky Mountain while I start the ostinato? How about if I play the ostinato one time on one line, then you can come in, okay? Rocky Mountain,
Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain high.
when you're on that Rocky
Mountain, hang your head and cry. Do, 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 remember me. Do, 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 remember me.
Okay, and then I could have some kids come up and be solos while they do the ostinato when the whole class sings. This really is work that takes a couple of days. Okay, and then I can say, let's try it. Let's try doing the ostinato while we sing Rocky Mountain. So let's do the ostinato a couple times and then we'll start singing in a second. Okay, 1, 2, here we go. Let's try singing. Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain high. When you're on that Rocky Mountain, I'm stepping away from tapping it because I want you to be independent. Do remember me. Do remember me. Okay, and then if you'll notice, actually I think it's in the lesson previous, it's in lesson 28, he's already doing some ostinato work there, where he does the T2 ostinato. I actually, the way I do it is how I do it now. I start the ostinatos after we start the reinforcement stage. And so I start with this is my first ostinato, and then the next day I can come back in as my next ostinato. Can you use your imaginations? This is now a TT. Okay, so we can try this ostinato instead. Can we go T2? We try with me.
T2. T2.
I'm going to let you be challenged by looking at what you're not playing. Let's try. Can you keep tapping it?
This is making me sad.
No.
I wish that I had gotten this.
I know. Can you keep going while I tap it and while I sing? Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain high. When you're on that Rocky Mountain, hang your head and cry. Do remember me. Do remember me. So Paul, remember that's a TT, it's not a top.
Got it,
right?
yeah.
Okay. So we can just do a flashcard to show the ostinato. We don't need to have the whole song up here. Show works well like that, but it doesn't for other ostinatos.
Did any have success in immediately just trying to sing and do that, or do you have them also like do it in groups first, like have one group do the ostinato and one group sing?
Yes, that would be a really good step. So we'll go through this next week, but there's a sequence for part work, and it's in your handouts. There's a whole setup to it. But the first important thing is teacher does one part and the students do the other part. So that's why I was singing Rocky Mountain, because that's the harder thing to do while you're focusing on the rhythm. Then I would do the rhythm while you sing. And then we would divide in half and we would do 2 sides. And then we would do solos. Okay? All right, and that is, you do have, it's called development of part work. It's in your handouts. It walks you through those steps. Okay. Yeah. Now an important part, yes, yeah, and I'll reinforce that next week. We'll be talking about some more. If you look at lesson 31, he starts to get into 4